I'm Aroma Revi, the Director of the Indian Institute for Human Settlements and an IPCC coordinating lead author. Today, I'm going to tell you how Volume 1 of the AR6 Summary for Urban Policymakers series establishes what the latest physical science of climate change means for cities and urban areas. The climate change crisis is not something that will impact our grandchildren or distant places in the future. The climate crisis is here and now. It affects each one of us each day and is getting rapidly worse. Human-induced climate change increasingly impacts every region and system in the world. We hear about more intense weather and climate extremes somewhere in the world each day. Every region will experience simultaneous and multiple changes in climate impact drivers at higher levels of global warming than the 1.1 degrees Celsius that we have today. In many places, these climate impact drivers are arriving simultaneously as compound events and overlap with slow onset drivers. Simply put, without immediate and deep reductions in greenhouse gas emissions, global warming will exceed 2 degrees Celsius by around 2050. However, even with a strong reduction of emissions, cumulative carbon dioxide emissions will increase and exceed 1.5 degrees Celsius in the next 20 years. The science makes it strikingly clear that cities and urban areas are both sources of climate forces and important sites for innovation and the implementation of adaptation, mitigation, and sustainable development. Some large cities in West and South Asia and smaller cities in the Arctic have already exceeded 2 degrees Celsius of warming compared to pre-industrial levels. Most cities and urban areas will also experience 1.5 degrees Celsius and 2 degrees Celsius warming earlier than other areas on land. Heavy rain events can flood buildings, roadways, subway tunnels, and farmlands. Heavy precipitation may overwhelm city transportation and stormwater drainage systems, which are typically designed to respond to specific risks of event intensity, duration, and frequency. This can be exceeded by many climate-induced extreme events. Cyclones and severe coastal storms will expose cities to compound wind, water, and coastal hazards, which can cause widespread human death and damage to housing, transportation, and energy infrastructure. When combined in close succession or simultaneously in different regions, non-extreme climate events can lead to extreme impacts that far exceed the impact of individual extreme events in particular cities. The combination of future urbanization and increasingly frequent extreme climate events, such as heat waves with more hot days and warm nights, will increase heat stress in cities. In the future, urbanization will intensify urban heat island effects, regardless of changes in the background climate. In spite of these dire problems, the global community now has a map of the solution space to address the challenges of climate change and sustainable development together. In this, cities will play a central role in how we adapt, mitigate, and develop. Future changes to our climate and how they affect us depend on the choices we make in our cities and urban areas today. Our climate is our future.